All right, guys, back at it again. It's your boy James and Manny
Yo,
talking to each other through Zoom like some weirdos.
yeah, this is what happens, man. The time of COVID.
But we're still coming at it. And this is actually going to be the second time doing this podcast because the last time the audio didn't record. So
Yeah,
that's
this
cool.
this is why we need a fucking Jamie.
We need a young Jamie
We
because
we need somebody that can stay on top of it and know when things are recording.
first it was the video not recording a couple weeks ago, and now it's not the audio. Now it's like now we're not even in the same room together. It's like
Fuck.
this podcast is just on its way downhill super fast.
No, this is when it starts peaking.
Yeah,
This
you can't get any worse than this.
there's only one way to go now. It's up. It's up.
That's positivity right there. I appreciate the positivity, man.
You fucking gotta be.
Well, what's up with you, man?
Shit.
Yeah,
Have not been training for a while now.
yeah. Well, just
It's
been
been
busy.
Nah, it's been 2 weeks, man, yeah. Has it been 2 weeks? Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. But I had a partial tear in my fucking rotary cuff.
Oh yeah,
Rotary cuff?
forgot about that.
Rotary cuff? How you fucking say it?
Rotator. Cuff.
Yeah, rotator cuff.
Yeah.
But
Damn.
yeah.
How'd you do that?
I think it was when I think it was bound to happen eventually. But every time I benched heavy, I felt like a weird pump in there. And it felt, I don't know, it started to sting sometimes.
Huh.
And I was like, I'll be fine. It'll buff. So then I would just go move on and just do my shoulder movements and hope for the best. And then,
But it actually wasn't painful when you were benching.
no.
You just felt a little discomfort.
Yeah. And then I would always cut it at that point is when it got really like,
Okay.
and then I'd stop. But I think I hit a PR and I did 375 or 374, I think, on bench for a set of 3. And it moved fucking amazing. And thank God I didn't put 400 on there because I was so tempted to put 400 on there and fucking rep that out. But like following the days after, like pain came. So like I did it on Saturday and then Sunday came and it was a little painful. And then Monday came and it got a lot more painful. And then basically all the way up until like that next Saturday or next Sunday, like, dude, I woke up and it had me like close to tears trying to move. So I was like, yep, time to go to the emergency room.
Damn. That's weird that you didn't get like a mechanism of injury like at the time. Like you didn't feel like pain. I wonder if it was just your adrenaline. You're like, hell yeah, PR.
That's exactly what they said. So the doctor was like, yeah, it could have been adrenaline. It could have been you're just you're asymptomatic to pain. Like,
Oh, okay.
I'm like, no, because
Big balls out here.
because as soon as I get a paper cut, I'm fucking crying about it. I'm like, oh god,
like,
oh god,
no, I'm actually a giant fucking pussy.
yeah, fuck yeah.
That's actually not the case, doctor.
Stub my toe and the fucking world's over, man.
Bro, I stubbed my toe yesterday, and a tear showed up in my eye, dude.
Damn, how hard did you hit it?
It was. I mean, it didn't even feel like I hit it that hard, but I hit it right, bro. When sometimes you hit it right, and like the planets align, and that shit just fucking just
Fuck your life.
goes zing. Like it's almost as bad. It's hard to see which one's worse when you like hit your shin on something or when you like stub your toe.
Shin.
Because I hit my shin at the gym yesterday, and that shit was like man down status. Like I almost went down. And you like shake it off. You're like trying to shake it off real quick and like do a little hop.
You're fucking limping.
Hop step. Hop step. I'm good. Nobody saw that. But really inside you're just it's like that
You're crushed, dog.
yeah. It's like that what's that rescue animal song.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Uh,
playing.
Arms of the
Yeah, the
angel.
arms of the angel. That's just playing in your head. Like, yeah, a quick hit to. I think shin is worse too. Yeah,
Yeah, I'd rather take one to the toe than the shin.
yeah.
Oh god.
It's fine. There's like these kids that running by. Like, I feel like an old man, like one of those old men. Get off my
Get off
fucking
my
lawn!
lawn.
But like they're running behind, like in our complex.
Mm-hmm.
There's no like separations between the patios, and so they're just running back and forth. And Peach is not having it, but she's like too tired because we're at the dog park, so she's like not getting up to bark at him. She's just like laying like hella
Very
far away.
lazy.
She's like laying hella far away. Like I think of a fuck you, kid, and then she's like, oh, I'm tired.
She feels your energy. That's why. Yeah. So I tore it, or not tore it, but partial tear after I got an X-ray.
Did they say how much of a tear?
They said basically like the way she described it was like if you were to take like a rice cake and then scrape like a few layers off of it,
Oh,
and you'd have a divot.
yeah.
She's like, that's what you have.
Oh,
So she was like, that's why it hurts because every time you move, she's like, you're basically scraping more and more off.
oh, sick.
So yeah, right. So she's like 6 months, only banded movements. Yeah, banded movements, and nothing heavy on my opposite arm because apparently this one is like it's like 97% from getting a partial tear as well.
So you have like 3% of a chance left before it fucking just snaps on you.
Yeah.
So she's trying to like take away all your gains then.
Basically
6 months of just nothing but band, and you're gonna look like a fucking little
I'm gonna
starving
look like a little
kid.
bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of cheated. I tried to do some light dumbbell stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth it.
It hurt.
Yeah, it hurt like a motherfucker.
Huh. What about, is it only pressing that hurts, or like could you do like pulls and like pull ups?
I can do pulls. I can't do pull ups.
Well, could you do pull ups?
I can't. I can't do pull ups just naturally.
That's not because of the rotator is.
Yeah. It's because I'm fat.
It's because of gravity.
Yeah. Keeps me from doing it.
But pulls don't hurt.
Nah, I can do pulls. But she wants me to do it all band-aid until it starts feeling better.
Nah, you need to tell her to suck a dick.
Right?
Like, if it doesn't hurt when you're, I would think that doing like heavier back stuff, that you're not, as long as you're not compromising the rotator cuff. I don't think you are, but that's only going to help because it's going to help pull your shoulder into a better position.
Yeah. So she recommended rows.
Yeah.
Any row variation.
Yeah.
And then she was like, just be careful with like lat pull downs.
Yeah.
Because I can reach over my head, like fine. But it's when I start like trying to reach back.
What do you mean reach back? Like
so
behind?
So like if I'm trying to do this,
yeah,
I can't do that with my other arm, or else it's painful.
You don't need to be doing behind the neck shit anyway.
I know, but if I'm trying to scratch my back,
that's what your wife's for.
True.
Get one of them little like scratchers.
Yeah, but
It's fine.
I haven't been training.
That sucks, dude.
I mean, I did deadlifts
I can
yesterday.
Tell. You look weak.
Yeah, I do. Look so fucking weak. God, losing all the gains.
It happens. That's how it happens, dude. You miss 2 days at the gym and
it's fucking gone. Yeah. But I did deadlifts yesterday, and I did it. I tried it from the floor.
Hey, it's okay. No.
But yeah, how's your training been going?
Shitty.
Why? The fuck?
Well, I took this week was kind of like a deload. So I can't really deload. Like I have trouble with deloads. Because if I go in with the mindset that I'm not going to go that heavy today, I end up just not really doing much in general. You know what I mean? Like
you become
I go lazy. Like, yeah. Well, I'm not motivated because I I end up treating the workout differently. Like even if I don't consciously want to treat it differently, I end up not warming up as much. Everything kind of aches a little bit. Then I'm like, man, this is fucking lame. I do
I
like
kind of don't want to be
yeah,
here.
I do like 3 things. I'm like, you know, I'm not accomplishing shit, and I leave.
That's a terrible
Plus,
mindset.
it is a terrible mindset. Plus, I got like I saw my PT guy on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I see him, I need to stop seeing him on Monday because every time I see him, I'm sore for like 4 fucking days.
God
So
damn, what the
like
fuck does he do to you?
he gets in there, he's like dropping the elbow, just in my hamstrings. My hamstrings are terrible. This Monday he worked on my calves and brought me to tears. Like literally brought me to tears. Like I was like full on crying. This shit hurt.
God damn.
And my shit was so sore. Like sore. And then I did that on Monday and I was like, man, definitely can't train there, right? So you're not training Monday.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday I went in and I was like, all right, I'll do some, dynamic leg day stuff. So I did some banded deadlifts, did like some light like hamstring curls and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And Wednesday, I don't work out on Wednesday. That's my normal off day. Plus, I was like, if I do bench here, then it kind of throws off the rest of the week. So I'm not going to do anything. So I was like, Wednesday, I'll take off. Thursday, went in there, tried to bench. I was like, I feel good, right? Like it's 3 days later. I was like, you know what? Today, I'm going to do max reps with 315. Like that's not heavy, right? That's not heavy. It's like a nice little deload. And then I went in there. I got to like 11, and my body's like, "Man, this is heavy as fuck." So I racked it at 11, and I was like, "So then, my head, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm a weak bitch because 11 reps, like that's terrible. Yeah. Like, I can't even hit more than 11 reps. So it like ruined the rest of my workout. So I did like 2 other things. I fucking left. And then I tried to deadlift or work out yesterday. I was like, I'll do a little max effort. And I did the cambered bar squats, fucking heavy. Shit hurts. And I was just like, man, fuck this. I'm getting weak. I'm stuck. So I left.
God, dude. I think I'm
gonna get a coach. I think I'm gonna get a coach.
I told you, man. Programming for yourself never ends up working out.
Well, the problem with programming for yourself is you always tell yourself that you can make something up, right? Like you're like, oh, I'll do one less accessory today and I'll just make up for it on the next one.
Yeah.
And then the next workout comes around and you don't make up for it and you're just like,
nah.
Plus, it's gotten to the point where I work out in the evening time, right? Like, so I get to the gym at like 7 now.
God damn.
Right? It's late.
Makes it sound really old, but
well,
if you think about it, you're getting there late because if you get there too early, then everyone's going to be there.
Well, that's not even why I do that. I do it because Chrissy has basketball, so I have to come back and take the dog out after I leave the office. And then while I'm here, like taking the dog out, I have to eat, right?
Yeah.
And then it takes me a little bit to get ready. And then so I usually leave my house like 6:30. And then, so I'm warming up maybe by like 6:45. And I still have 2 meals after that I have to do. So like if I get done at like 10, I'm up until midnight. And I'm struggling to get that last meal in before midnight. And then I don't get enough sleep. So I'm like, fuck.
So you're cranky the next day.
So I'm cranky and I'm weak, which was part of the reason why I was weak yesterday is because I had like 5 hours of sleep the night before. So I don't end up getting enough sleep, which throws off my day, which throws off my training. And then, so I spend that time at 7, but everyone's there at 7. So I'm still catching up with people. I'm still fucking around. Like, it takes me 30 minutes to warm up. Like, so it ends up going by very quickly. By like 9 o'clock, I'm like, man, I need to leave because I need to go home and eat, shower, all this other shit. So I'm like rushing through it, and then I end up cutting a bunch of shit out. But part of that is because I don't have anything written down. So it's like, oh, I could skip that.
Yeah.
I could skip that.
Why don't you use a notebook? You're not a write it down person?
I'm not going to write it down.
Why not?
The mood to. There's really no reason. There's really no reason why I'm not going to write it down.
You just don't want to.
I don't want to, right?
That's terrible, man.
Part of the reason why I don't want. Part of the reason I don't want to write it down because I know if I write it down, then I have to fucking do it. Because like that's just how I am. If I write it down, like I used to have like a whiteboard at the gym that I ran, and I would write out the workout and it'd be fucking ridiculous. And everyone knew that if they were working out with me, that if it was on the board, we were fucking doing it. It didn't matter how bad it sucked.
That doesn't sound like fun.
No, that's right. So that's why I don't write shit down because I'm like, because in my head, as I'm writing it down, I'm like, oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. That sounds good. And then in the moment, it's like, fuck, that sounds terrible. But it's on the thing, so I have to do it.
Yeah.
So I just need somebody to write the shit down for me. That's really, I'm just being lazy.
Yeah, I was about to say that. So you're just being lazy, dog.
I don't trust myself too. Like, I overanalyze shit. You know what I mean? I overanalyze everything.
But I mean, that's somewhat good, though.
It is, but it's like almost paralysis by analysis, right? Like, oh, I don't want to do too much because I have to do this on Wednesday, right? Like, oh, I'm doing a big squat on Wednesday, right? So I don't want to do too much today because I don't want to be sore and I don't want to throw that number off and then blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to do that. But then I end up doing too little, you know?
But then wouldn't you still do that even if you had a coach?
No.
Really?
Because that's his fucking job.
But I'm saying, like, if you're looking at the plan itself in front of you, and you're like, oh shit, like, unless he does it, if he only sends it to you day by day, like, or if he sends you the week, you're gonna be looking at it and be like, oh shit, so Monday I got squat, an easy squat day, but on Thursday I have a heavy squat day or a heavy deadlift day. Like, I don't want to affect that, so maybe I'll tone this down to not affect that. You know what I'm saying?
No, because if usually when somebody's coaching you, they're telling you like this is supposed to be, this percentage, right?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be RPE this. If I'm doing it myself, I'm like, fuck, RPE 10 all the time, right? Mm-hmm. So it's harder for me to tone it down.
So but basically, if somebody puts it in front of you, then you actually listen.
Yeah. If somebody tells me what percentage I should be at for this, I'll do it. But if I'm doing it myself, I'll usually always be like, I'll always amp it up a little bit more.
Okay.
Like, I set my percentages higher
than they actually should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I won't go off. I'll end up, this is how fucked up my brain is, right? Like, I'll do like a 5-rep max and it'll fucking throw my predicted 1-rep max at X. And I'll set my fucking percentages off of that. Even if I've never done that fucking number. Because I'm like, I should be able to do that, so I'm going to set my percentages off of that number.
Yeah.
And then everything is fucking heavy. Right?
Mistakes were made. Okay.
But like not heavy enough that I won't be able to do it. It's just heavy enough that it'll fuck me.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm just an asshole then because I do that shit. Even if I'm paying for it. What? Like, I'll like, when I had a coach at the time, like, I would look, he would always make me squat on Monday. And he'd always make it like something like SSB or something like that. And then my main squat day, like competition squat day, would be on Thursday.
Yeah.
So my idea is, I'm going to take it easy on Monday because I know I'm going to end up having to go heavier on Thursday.
Right.
Fuck the number that he put. I'm going to go lower just to make sure I have it. And then as soon as that day comes, I'm fucked because I did way too many. Because I try and compensate for it by doing more sets and more reps.
Right. Yeah.
So then I, in turn, fuck myself on that. So I guess I'm just an asshole.
Yeah. Well, you kind of are an asshole.
Yeah, I figured.
I think part of it too is I just had a bad week of training. Like, my fucking numbers have been going up. Like, when you have a bad week of training, it's easy to be like, oh man, everything's fucked. Yeah. I need a coach. Well. I need a coach. I'm not doing enough. Life sucks. I'm gonna never make it. I'm never gonna make it.
I'm never gonna get the number I want.
Right. Yeah. But like before this, all my numbers have been going up. Like I've been hitting PRs every fucking week. So I just had a bad week. That's all. Dude, I hit 345 for 8 close grip,
Mm-hmm.
and I posted it on TikTok. And there's a dude that was like, "That's not close grip." Like, and I was like,
Fucking dick.
"Motherfucker!"
Let me guess, you were fucking fuming when you saw that.
Oh, I was mad. I made a video response immediately. Ugh.
Why do you keep feeding the trolls, man?
The video response actually did well. It did well. It did better than my last few videos. So I was like, "Fuck, man! I need to feed the trolls more often." Apparently,
God.
it's weird what goes viral on TikTok, or what does well on TikTok.
Yeah. Well, I know there's one dude that he rarely posts his training videos, but all he does is review other people's training videos.
Silent Mike?
No, not Silent Mike.
Because he does that.
Tim Timidon. You seen him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he rarely posts his training videos. He does a lot more of like, what's that shit called? We stitch the video, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah.
He duets.
Yeah, there you go. But that shit goes viral. That makes it.
Yeah.
Somehow. Yeah.
It's just weird what goes viral, right? Like
Yeah.
I threw up a 675, repping out 675 on deadlift,
Mm-hmm.
like 500 views. Then I put up a video of me benching with the Cambridge bar, like not even a lot of weight, fucking 20,000 views. Like, all right.
They're more interested in your bench than they are your deadlift. They're like, man, we already know this motherfucker can deadlift. Like,
I think it's because
let's see that.
It's because I deadlift sumo. That's what it is.
Probably.
TikTok hates sumo.
Fucking everyone hates sumo, dog.
No, but TikTok in particular, I don't know what it is, but people on TikTok hate sumo. Like,
why?
Hate. It's like everybody on like Instagram that hates sumo, they all went to TikTok, and they're the only people that went there.
And they're fucking flooding it.
They're flooding it. I guess I won't be TikTok famous. Bummer.
When it's okay, you can be Instagram famous.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about this though. I'll go on TikTok and I'll see somebody that has like 200K on TikTok, and then I'll go to their Instagram, and their Instagram's like 5K or like 10K. It's wild how vastly like you would expect somebody that has a large social media on one platform to have a large social media across other platforms, right?
Yeah,
but
it's not
wild. It's wild. It's like the TikTok doesn't transfer over to other medias.
Yeah. The one that I find the weirdest is Facebook. Have you seen those where like people aren't that big on TikTok or on Instagram or on like any other social media, but then you go to their Facebook page, there's like fucking 100,000 people like their page. Yeah, and it's like the most active. I'm like, yo, man, people really use that.
I have a buddy, and he has like, I forget how many. He has like millions on Facebook, and I think his Instagram has like 300K.
See, that's weird to me, man.
But I think I think he's got a lot on YouTube. But yeah,
but what drives people to go to?
I think it's because of the Facebook ads. Because Facebook ads apparently used to be super good. Like you could drive a lot of traffic for not a lot of money. I think they've adjusted them since then because I don't think they're as good, but I think they're still considered fairly affordable.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's part of the reason, because it was easier to grow your page through ads on Facebook than it is Instagram. Instagram ads, I don't think do very much, right? Especially if you're trying to well, in terms of building a page, right? Like if you throw up an ad like, "Hey, follow me," kind of thing. I don't know if that drives very many people to your page.
Depends on what it is, though.
I mean, if you're a company, maybe. If you're a single individual person, though, I don't know.
But yeah, like if you're doing self-promotion,
yeah.
But it depends on what you're posting as far as like the image or the video that people are like looking at.
I don't know. I think so. I think it's looked at differently, personally, because like if I see, because I'll see some cool shit like pop up as like a sponsored feed, but as soon as I see that it's a sponsored thing, I scroll right fucking past it. And that's like not even like me being a hater. It's just me like, oh, I had no interest. Like I view sponsored ads differently. Like I'm like, oh fuck that. Don't tell me what to watch.
It's the fucking skip ad.
Yeah, 100%.
Like on fucking YouTube, skip ad.
Yeah.
Fucking 100%. Hulu, same thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So I don't know personally, and I doubt that I'm the only person that does that.
I'm pretty sure everyone does it.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, but on Facebook, like, I don't know, the whole share aspect, like people can share it on their page. Mm-hmm. That changes it, right? Like if somebody makes a thing and they boost it, and then people start sharing it, that's a little different.
Yeah,
because then it doesn't seem like you're getting spoon-fed an ad. It comes across more organic, so you're more likely to be receptive to it, I believe.
I don't know. I don't use Facebook that much to begin with.
I use it a little bit.
I want to delete mine. If I didn't have to use it for work, I would delete it.
I started using because I created like a personal page outside of my traditional Facebook account. I started a long time ago.
Like a brand one?
Yeah, well, like a brand, but like for me.
Yeah, it's a self-promotion brand.
Like a self-promotion thing. And I stopped using it because I was like, fuck, like Facebook's lame. But I was listening to this guy, Frederick Eklund. He's like a real estate guy. He's on like $1 Million Listing and stuff. A bunch of TV shows. I was listening to his book, and he was talking about Facebook and how he loves Facebook, and like Facebook's super good for like, he's like, if you have a brand or if you're just trying to promote yourself, you need to create a Facebook page for yourself and use it regularly because it's effective and it's super easy to connect with people. And I was like, fuck, man. So I restarted it. We'll see.
You fell into the ad.
It wasn't an ad. It's his fucking book.
There's a secret ad within the book.
Probably. No, but he was talking about how to leverage all the social medias, and he went through each one individually. Yeah. He's like, if you don't have a Facebook page, you should get one.
Yeah. Watch in a month, over 1 million people.
I think I have like 1,000 people on it.
No, you're halfway there, man.
Yeah. No ads. 1,000 organic, natural fucking people. Look at that. Where's my pay me $1,000 and I'll tell you my marketing secrets. How to get 1,000 organic followers on fucking Facebook. Jesus. For 10 easy payments of $1,000.
Yeah.
Buy my e-course.
Dope.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you find a good coach.
I'm just gonna reach out to my buddy Vic. He's pretty well known.
Yeah.
He's coached me before.
Nice.
I was gonna probably reach out to somebody anyway, just for like the last 4 weeks to help me peak.
Yeah, because you're what? You're
10 weeks out.
Oh, I was gonna say 11.
I don't know. Might be 10. Might be 11. Who knows?
You should know these things.
It's either 10 or 11. I think it was 10 this week.
You're about to fuck up.
Probably. Hey, it's all part of the plan.
Yeah, the non-plan.
Yeah. If you not having a plan is a plan.
What the fuck? All right.
That's also part of my e-course.
Yeah. Just a typed up fucking janky ass PDF.
It's not even a PDF, bro. It's like a Word document. We're not bougie over here, bro. God. You want to get into the topic that we're going to talk about?
I mean, if we have to, yeah.
If we have to? I mean, we don't have to. We just keep bullshitting, boring the fuck out of people.
Yeah, but I don't know how long they'll stay for more bullshit.
Well,
or if they haven't fucking tapped out by now.
They've already tapped out.
If you made it this far,
a buddy a buddy of mine was on. He was telling me, he's like, I was listening to your podcast with my fiance on our drive up north, and she's like, do they just bullshit the whole time? He's like, no, they bullshit for like half of it, and then they get into the good stuff at the
end. We try and make it quick, but then we get fucking sidetracked every single time by something else.
Yeah.
But okay.
Oh well. We're going to talk about TRT.
Topic, yes. It's TRT.
And PEDs.
And apparently somebody asked about SARMs.
Yeah, I'm not the foremost SARMs expert.
I'm not either, but
I thought SARMs were literally like test boosters for like the longest time.
Damn.
Like that's how out of touch I was with SARMs. I was like, the fuck is SARMs? And then like people are talking about like, because I guess a lot of them are pills.
The pills are worse.
Yeah, but like a lot of them are pills.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, you mean like test booster? That's how fucking stupid I was. Like, I that's how little I know about SARMs.
Yeah, just take all these test boosters.
That's what I thought.
Tell me how you feel.
I was like, you buy that at GNC? Like, where you get SARMs at?
I think you actually can get them. No, you can't. No, not GNC.
Really?
No.
It wouldn't surprise me. Actually, it would, because GNC's lame.
Yeah, exactly.
But not recently.
No, not recently. This was like years ago. HRT and PEDs and SARMs.
Why don't they just call it HRT? Why is TRT a thing? Why do they have two different things for that?
Testosterone replacement treatment. Another one's hormone replacement treatment. Yeah. As far as I know, the difference is that the hormone replacement isn't just testosterone; it's everything else.
D-ball and fucking Deca.
Shit. Yeah,
the good shit.
Winstrol, some Tren.
But
we're just naming a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
All right. Don't actually go do those.
But before we get into this, we are not doctors, so don't take anything as none of this is medical advice.
Yeah. No. Please don't.
I feel like we have to make that clear because people are dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And we're not going to give you doses. We're not going to do that.
No. Talk to a doctor for that.
Yeah.
But so yeah, HRT, TRT.
Yeah.
It's a so I've been on TRT for 2 years now. I started in 2019. And dude, I wish I had started it sooner. Not like, no joke. Just it has been such a good decision on my end. Like, with very little to next to nothing in terms of like negatives to speak of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think a lot of people probably maybe are going to be listening to this and they're going to maybe hear some of what we're talking about here and be like, oh man, I feel that way too. And I want to make it clear that like, if you feel this way, don't push it back, right? Like, if you feel like some of this maybe applies to you, like, go see a doc, because there's no point in pushing it back any further, because it's literally just going to continue to waste your time, right? Because like I felt shitty as early as like when I was 29, or when I was like 29. I started feeling these symptoms, and I was just so in my head about steroids are bad, PEDs are bad, testosterone's bad, it's all cheating, like no one would do that, like no one, if you use it, you're a scumbag, you're a dope head, like fuck you, like
it's a lazy way,
you're a scum of the earth, yeah, you're lazy, you're looking for the shortcut, right? Because like that's just how I was raised, that's like my relationship with it. Like, I didn't know a ton of guys that were on gear back in the day, but the guys I did know, I was like, I don't like that guy. That guy's an asshole, and he's on gear, so that must be why he's an asshole, like, right? And like playing college sports, like everyone was like, you know, obviously we get drug tested, so it's like, don't even think about it. Like, it's not worth it. Like, think about your career and all of the um, all of the medical and like growing up. Like, I don't know if they covered it in your health class, but they covered steroids a little bit in my health class, and it was all like, "This is bad. It will kill you. It will create roid rage. You'll murder somebody." Like, blah 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 blah. Like all these fucking negatives. And the more you look into it, and the more you kind of explore that, you're like, wow, the medical community is totally fucked with their like view and how they portray this.
Yeah.
And it's greatly, I think, damaged people and like created the stigma around testosterone and like hormone replacement therapy that now is like it's like crazy strong. Like, you can't even bring it up with most people because they'll be like, "Oh, you're on roids," or "Oh, that's why you're so strong," right? Like, but
well, yeah, like I mean, it's gonna be a shocker to a lot of people, but I started it last year.
yeah,
I think last year. Yeah. But I did it the black market way. Sounds way more sketchy that way, but it's honestly what it was. And the only reason why I did that is because when I was younger, I knew already that I had low T.
right.
Like from the age of 18, I didn't develop as everyone else did, which is weird because I could still grow a fucking beard and look
That's crazy that you were able to grow a beard that young, but still had low T.
Yeah, it's insane. But it was super low, and because my parents couldn't afford it,
yeah,
I just never got on it, even though I knew I needed it. And like as the years like went on, I still felt shitty, and I didn't sleep right. I wasn't eating that well. I just felt like ass. But then I got blood work done, and then found out about it, and then before they even like put me on anything, I was doing it the black market way because I already knew beforehand. But even then,
you had a hunch that it was
that was still low. But even when I started that,
was it still low after you did the black market way and then you got your blood work done?
Yes. So that's what I was going to say. So after doing it the black market way for like a few months and like starting to feel a little better and everything, I went and got my test done, and I think my initial one like test results came back for my testosterone, and I think it was in like the 200s, even after doing the black market way. So I was like,
so it must have been like crazy low then before you started. Yeah.
Which explains everything as far as like why I felt so fucking like crappy every day. Yeah. But after like I did that and I stopped doing it the black market way, like a doctor actually prescribed me it because they were like, "Yo, man, if you've been doing it and you've actually been getting like actual testosterone," and I wasn't doing anything crazy.
Right.
I wasn't doing like what most people.
You weren't doing like a bodybuilder dose. You weren't throwing like a gram of test in there.
Yeah, no. So I was just doing just enough that was like the recommended dose for TRT.
Yeah.
Which still surprised me that I was doing it just that baseline amount, and then I was still that low.
Yeah.
After blood work.
Well, that's the danger of doing it like a black market way like that, is because you're not able to verify like how good, how quality the test is that you're getting.
Yeah.
So
the only good thing is that at least from where I was getting it, they actually send you the whole lab results of what you're buying.
Oh wow!
So like, I was getting testosterone cypionate, and they would send me like the whole lab workup of that batch
to show that it was
to show it was actually real. Huh. Wow. And like how much was in it in that batch. And I will say that there's times where I'd buy it, and there were some times where it was lower than it was the last time.
Yeah.
Which explained the price, because the price would fluctuate every single time.
Okay.
So I understood like, oh, if I'm paying more this time, it's because
it's a better
yeah,
damage.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not telling anybody to go the black market way.
No.
Don't. It's
Well,
just
that's the thing is you shouldn't have to nowadays, because most insurances cover it.
Yeah.
And getting your blood work done is not crazy expensive.
No.
It's not a crazy
Not as
expensive.
much as people
So,
think.
I mean, if you were to maybe say like, oh, my doctor won't cover it, like it doesn't get covered, I could see like you getting your blood work done, having a doctor look at it, and then maybe going to the black market to buy it, as opposed to going through a pharmacy or something, because that might be expensive. But
Even then,
I don't think that's worth it. I mean, you should go about it through a doctor, find a good doctor. Most of them will be covered under, because thankfully things are starting to trend that way a little bit more. I know, but you can't go to your general practitioner. You have to actually find like a legitimate doctor that specializes in hormone replacement or longevity, as they call it. Like, I guess, because most general practitioners aren't super well versed on that. Like, I remember when I started mine back in 2019, I was seeing the general practitioner, and the guy was already a douchebag. Like, I didn't like the guy to begin with, but he was the only doctor I could get into, right? Because it's like super hard to get into general practitioners at the time that I was trying to get in. So he was the only one that would see me. So I was seeing him, and I was like, hey, I'd like to get a full panel of blood work done, right? I'd like to get my, test, estrogen, all the good stuff, full panel. And he's like, why? And I was like, well, I'd like to see where my test is at. I would like to see where my estrogen's at. He's like, you don't need that. You're a healthy guy. Because I was, 30, 32 at the time, and about 240, 250 pounds, fairly muscular, not crazy lean or anything. He's like, you're fine. You look healthy. You're good. And I was like, that's not the point, dude. I want to get it checked. Right? Yeah. Like, just run the fucking tests. And, it was like pulling teeth trying to get him to pull them. And then even when he did that, like, I remember he checked my like liver enzymes were elevated, right? And he's like, oh, you might have hepatitis.
Oh God.
I was like, what? Like, this is how little like some of these general practitioners know about athletics or training or hormones or any of that, because heavy strength training, like large weight lifting, large amounts of weight for reps or anything, creates elevated liver enzymes temporarily. So when we did the blood test, I did that like 3 days after I did like a heavy deadlift session. And so I was like, no, my liver enzymes are elevated because I work out and I eat a high protein diet. They're not elevated because I have hepatitis. And he refused to fucking believe that. Right. So he ended up having me do my blood work again, and he wanted me to do all these other tests. And when we did those other tests, it came back, you're fine, right? Because it's just a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely don't go to a general practitioner if you're trying to get any of this done, because it's hit or miss if you'll find a good one, right?
I mean, I tell everyone, at least I tell them now, because I have a couple friends. I have like a small group of people that actually know that I'm doing this,
right?
And I only told them because they basically had the same symptoms as me, and I was like, hey man, you should really go get checked out. You should really go get some blood work.
Yeah.
But for them, it was the same thing. They're like, oh man, it's gonna be so expensive. Like, my insurance isn't gonna cover that. Yeah. They're gonna consider that cosmetic or something. I'm like, nah, man. Like, you don't know unless you go try.
Yeah.
Like, my insurance covers it all. Like, down to the prescription itself.
Yeah, I think my prescription's like $10 a month or some shit.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking cheap.
Yeah, mine's the same. So if you have insurance, you're probably covered for it. They're obviously not going to tell you that you are.
It may not be like full coverage, but they're going to cover
some of it
at least, because especially with all the with the whole push of like in the trans community of like hormone therapy for, you know, people transitioning, like that's a huge part of insurance now. Like that's it's a huge coverage for a lot of them. So chances are most insurances will cover that, even if that's not the reason that you're trying to get it covered or get it done. Like they'll still cover it. So
I mean, I was talking to a buddy like not too long ago, and I was telling him about it, and he's very hesitant, just because he's like, hey man, if I go see this doctor and they prescribe me this, so are they just gonna give me a website to buy this stuff from, or like, I'm like, you're thinking the black market way, man.
Yeah.
He's like, do I have to buy it with like Bitcoin? Like, I'm like, dude, what the?
No, you go to fucking Walgreens, you pick that shit up.
Yeah. I was like, dude, I go to fucking Albertsons and I pick that shit up. And he's like, they're not gonna have it. I'm like, how are you gonna tell me that they don't have it if I pick it up from there?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, yeah, but it's so illegal. I'm like, it's not, man.
It's not though, especially not in Oregon, because now like Oregon like decriminalized all steroids or some shit.
Yeah.
So you're extra good in Oregon.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's at least from what I read, it's only illegal if your fucking name isn't on it.
Yeah.
So if you do buy black market, then yeah, it's illegal.
Yeah.
But if you're getting it prescribed to you, it's your name.
No, you're totally fine.
You're fine.
I've flown with my prescription before.
Seriously?
Yeah. You have to check it because of the needles and stuff, but
see, I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could.
Yeah. Well, it's a prescription.
Just like I know, but else. I've yet to fly with it. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, know that you can. I think you just have to check the needles and shit. I don't remember what I did. I think I'm pretty sure I checked them.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna make you check it because it's something shanky.
You could stab somebody with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's wild. It's a whole different thing. I tell people if people ask me, but I haven't like been open about it, just like super open about it. But like I'll tell people if like people ask me about it, or if people mention something, or like if somebody mentions like that they have like certain symptoms, I'll be like, dude, you should get on it. Like I've been on it for this long, like because and the reason I haven't brought it up for a lot of reasons. One, because
stigma.
It's such a stigma attached to it, right? Like there's such a stigma, like, oh, you're a juice head, or oh, you're a roider, like you're cheating. That's why you're so strong. And two, I didn't bring it up because I don't want people, like I had this weird thought in my head that I was like, I don't want people to assume that everything I've accomplished up to this point is because I've been doing roids and shit.
Yeah.
Like, no, I because people love to do that, especially if they're not as genetically gifted as certain people. And I'm not like overly genetically gifted, but I have a little bit more predisposition to being like in better shape or stronger in certain things because of just how I've grown.
Well, even natural, you still had more of an advantage.
Right. Well, that's the thing is like, in like I know when I was in my mid 20s and I was competing and I was doing some powerlifting, people thought I was on steroids already. Like there was like a rumor going around Grants Pass that like I was on gear, and I was 100% natural. So now I have this weird stigma where it's like I'm almost like hesitant to tell everybody because I don't want people to be like, oh, well, that explains why he was, you know, kicking this dude's ass back in 2012.
Yeah.
Like it's because he's been doing it all along. It's like, no, man, that was all me.
Well, now everybody's gonna know.
Well, now everybody's just gonna assume, right? Well, that's what everyone's gonna attribute all my gains to in the last 2 years. They're gonna be like, oh, it's because he's been on TRT.
Yeah.
Because they're just going to assume that that's all that makes the difference.
I know they assume that with me. I can't squat and I can't fucking deadlift for shit, but at least with my bench.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone assumed because they would see my bench like getting better and better.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, man.
God forbid it's you just being consistent and training hard.
Well, it was more because they were like, look, man, you can't be getting that strong and still have that big of a belly. And I was like, damn, that's cold.
Little do they know that the power belly is the main source of strength for a lot of people.
Yeah, man.
But look at Eddie Hall. That man had a power belly.
Yeah.
Brian Shaw, power bellies, bro. Strongest people in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Is a lot of people just assume that just people are misinformed of what it actually does.
Mm-hmm.
Like outside of like the strength and the those gains that you get from it, like your hormones play a large role in a dramatic fashion in a
Mm-hmm.
lot of aspects of your life that people often overlook, right? And then, like for example, when I was 29, I started feeling shitty, right? Like it wasn't like right when I turned 29, but like sometime during that,
Gradually.
yeah, sometime during that year, gradually I started feeling tired all the time. Like it didn't matter if I was sleeping, 10 hours a night or if I was sleeping 6 hours a night, I would wake up just exhausted, right? Like as soon as I woke up, I didn't wake up feeling refreshed. It didn't matter how much I slept the night before. I would wake up and I'd feel groggy and tired. And then I'd go about my day. And then around noon, I would have to take a nap. Like I would get so tired. And I would have to lay down and take like a 20, 30-minute nap. And then that's the only way I could get through the rest of the day, right? And it didn't matter how much I was sleeping or how much I was eating or how much I was training. I felt like that on a consistent basis every fucking day. And I was like, man, this is crazy, right? Like, I was like worried that something was wrong with me, right? And I just totally like scrapped that, right? And then it started gradually escalating to now I'm feeling like exhausted during training, like I'm not recovering between sessions, like I'm sore all the fucking time. Didn't matter what I'm doing, and then it gradually spirals into now I'm in my early 30s and I have this belly fat that won't go away, even if I'm eating 100% on point. Even if I'm monitoring and training and doing cardio, like it doesn't matter. I'm not losing weight.
Yeah.
And then it spiraled into, now I can't get a boner, right? Like that was like the last straw for me. Like when I was like 31, 32, I started having dick problems. It's like just the will was there, but the fucking the rod was not responding. And I was like, fuck this, dude. I'm way too young to be having all these fucking issues.
Yeah.
And so that's when I went and got my blood work done, and my test was low. But it wasn't like low. And see, this opens up a whole nother conversation of like what low T actually is. But my test was in the 300s, right? Which is not, if you look at the general guidelines of where testosterone is, that's not, it's in the bottom 25% maybe, but it's not like
but it's
below.
changed
It's not below the minimum threshold,
yeah.
right? So even though I was in the 300, luckily I had a good doctor who's like, yeah, that's all those symptoms. It doesn't matter where your T is at necessarily, because your T is obviously lower, but it doesn't matter that it's not below like the lowest number, because all these other symptoms are totally responsible for that.
Yeah.
Right. And literally she prescribed it, and I picked it up that day, and that fucking night or that afternoon I injected, went to the fucking gym, had the best workout I've had in fucking 4 years, went home, had some amazing sex, felt fucking phenomenal. And like every day since then has been me feeling great. Like I haven't had those symptoms.
Yeah.
Like I sleep well. I'm able to lose weight when I diet, even though I eat like an asshole every now and then. But and the biggest thing of all of that is my mood has changed. Like I used to be a lot more of a dick. Like I would be like little things would just fucking set me off. Like I'd get the worst road rage imaginable just over stupid things. And like the littlest thing would just ruin my day. Like I'd be fucking angry all day. And now I'm much happier. I still am a dick sometimes, but and I still get road rage every now and then, but little things don't set me off. Like it just brushes it off. Like I could brush it off way easier. And Chris, that was the biggest thing that Chrissy noticed in like that first like 3-4 months of me being on TRT. Is she's like, dude, you're way happier, and like you're way more fun to be around than before.
Yeah.
And I think people fail to realize that because they just have this stigma that testosterone means muscles.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, testosterone is a crucial hormone that regulates all these other things and controls all these other things. And if you throw that out of whack, everything else will suffer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it goes to that baseline thing. Like everyone's baseline is different, and you don't even know what your baseline is because you're gonna get your blood work and you're gonna be on the bottom end where you feel shitty.
Yeah.
So maybe once you start working up, you can actually find that good sweet spot that you can stay at. Because that's what I'm at right now. It's like I was super low, and I never knew what my baseline was at.
Right. Because you never had a true baseline because you've always had the low.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
But now that I'm actually on it, and I found that sweet spot where I feel really good.
Yeah.
Which for me is 500.
Yeah.
Like overall free test, but for most people that's still low for them.
Well,
but for me that's
where you feel your best.
Yeah, that's where I feel the best.
And that's the thing that that's a completely different subject, but like the whole idea of low T, and it goes back to like genetically everyone's fucking different, right? Like you can look at some of these dudes that never have to train, they can eat McDonald's every day and they look just like Greek gods, right? Like everyone has different genetics, right?
Yeah.
Like some people can look at a cupcake and gain 10 pounds. So that applies to your hormones as well. Some people have different like baselines of testosterone. Some dude might have his normal testosterone might be at 800, right? Mm-hmm. Like that just might be how he popped out the fucking womb.
Yeah.
He's at 800. And then some dudes, their baseline's like 300, right? So if you're that 800 dude and your testosterone and you're starting to age and your testosterone's starting to nosedive, and maybe now it's at 400, right? That's right there in the middle of what their natural. That's right there in the middle of the range for normal testosterone. Yeah. So if you go to a normal doctor, that normal doctor's going to look at it and be like, oh, you're at 400. You're totally good. Like you don't need anything. But he started at 800 and that's where his normal is. So yeah, he's in the normal range, but it's not normal for him. That's low for him. So when I tell people I was at 300 and they'll go, oh, that's not really that low. It's like, yeah, but you got to think that maybe I had a much higher baseline.
Yeah.
You look at me when I was like in my early 20s, I was pretty jacked, right? Like I had a much easier time putting on muscle than some people.
Yeah.
Right? And so my baseline, I never got it checked when I was in my 20s, but I bet you it was not 300. I bet you it was probably, maybe 500-600. So me at 300 is low. But that might be completely different for you. Like you said, you're feeling the best at 500.
Yeah.
So it's totally different for everyone.
Yeah, it's different for everyone. But it does affect everything.
Yeah. 100%.
That's the thing that people don't understand.
Yeah. And it controls it's just like a domino effect too, right? Like if you think about like sleep, right? Like you don't sleep well, the next day you're irritable. You're not as energetic. You're not as fun to be around. Your training probably sucks. You probably end up eating shittier, right? Which spirals into another day of feeling shitty, which spirals into a week of feeling shitty, which just continues to compound, right? And it all has an effect.
Yep.
So if you think about it in terms of now your testosterone has an effect on your sleep, which has an effect on your mood, which has an effect on this, it just spirals into, and then that's leading to also more of a decrease in your testosterone. So it's just like a spiral, right?
Yep.
Meanwhile, if you correct the testosterone and get that in a good range, you sleep better, which affects your mood, which affects your sex drive, which affects your training, which affects like your body composition and your health.
Yeah.
And it spirals up, right? And you just start feeling better and better, right? And I think people just there's just blinders, right? Like they're just so focused. Testosterone muscles, testosterone jacked, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't see
Stronger than everyone
right.
else.
They don't see all these other things that your testosterone affects.
Yeah.
And they assume that just because you're on testosterone, that you're just, you're just you're an egomaniac, that you just care about how you look and you don't give a shit like about people, right? Like that's all like you're self-centered, right? It's like, no, man, like I care about my overall health, because low T overall leads to it leads to other comorbidities. Like there's been research that like too low of testosterone leads you to other like factors or other risk leads to other risk factors that cause all these other like shit things, right? So it's like just like having too high of testosterone is bad, right? Like there's you can go either way.
There is a top end essentially. Just your top end may vary.
Yeah.
Because I know I've heard of people that have gone to that top end and gone past it where they actually felt shitty.
Well, I think that's the thing is like a lot of these like bodybuilders, especially like early like 90s, early 2000s. I want to say nowadays people are a little like those guys are a little bit more on top of like their blood work and everything. So they're even though they're pushing the limits, they're still doing it in a responsible way. Like I know a couple bodybuilders and they get their blood work done quarterly, right?
Yeah.
They get it done all the time. But I think like back when it wasn't as common for blood guys to get their blood work done, a lot of those bodybuilders were pushing like large amounts of testosterone, right? As well as other things that were elevating their test levels to astronomical levels, right? Like 4,000. And which is not super healthy for you in the long term. And those guys know that, right? Like most people know that. And so that leads to some health issues if you do that long term or, continue to keep those elevated levels for extended periods of time. And I'm sure some guys, it led to some heart problems. It led to some, other types of issues.
Yeah.
And then that gets sensationalized and everyone assumes that, oh, that's everyone that does testosterone.
Yeah.
Right. Like there are no levels to it. Right. It's anyone that does testosterone. That's what's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, it's frustrating.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's also not just testosterone though. You also got to check your estrogen.
Yeah. Your estrogen levels play a huge role in that too. And
because that's what I was at. It was I think the top end now for estrogen is like 85.
Yeah.
And then the low end, I think it's like what, 20?
It's like low 20s.
Yeah. But apparently I was at exactly 85.
Ooh.
And yeah, exactly.
Got some lady titties going on.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. Hell yeah. Solid B cups. But besides all that, it was like I felt shittier. My mood was really bad. Like everything ached. Like little bones and things like that were aching on me.
Yeah.
Like it was terrible.
Well, that's the thing too, is like it's not just where your test level's at, it's at where your estrogen's at and where the relationship between them is, right?
Yeah.
Like, so my estrogen was elevated as well. And elevated estrogen, like at too high of a concentration compared to where your testosterone's at, leads to a bunch of things like anxiety. And that was a huge thing with me. Like my doc was like, that's a big part of why like people get like super anxious or angry or like road rage. Like chances most of the time when that's occurring a lot, it's because their estrogen is way too high for where their testosterone's at.
Yeah.
Because I forget where mine was at. I don't think it was as high as yours. It was probably, I think it was in the 70s though. Or like the low 70s. And she's like, that's way too high for where your test is at. So I got on like an E blocker that dropped it down a little bit, and so that played a part in it as well. But that's the thing too, that people just look at their test levels. They don't necessarily look at where their estrogen's at or the relationship between the two, because there is a relationship, and it has to be, it's a delicate balance. And it's, I don't know, it makes me wonder though too, because we're talking about like the levels and how like the levels have changed, like the acceptable range of testosterone. I believe it's like 170 to like 780, I think, is now what's considered normal range.
I think it's 900.
Is it not?
I can
No,
look.
I think that's if you're
Give me
on.
2 seconds and I can find it.
I want to say it's like lower than that. I think it's in the high sevens, because I got my blood work done like a month ago.
So free testosterone is from 34 to 246,
Okay.
and then testosterone itself is 500 to 1200.
Yeah. See, that's if you're on therapy though.
Yeah, that's if you're on therapy.
Yeah. But if you're normal and if you're not on therapy,
Which is the free test. That's 34 to 246.
no. Your total testosterone if you're not on therapy. I think it's like 170 to 790.
Oh, yeah. 175 to 781.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that number right there, so that's what's considered like normal testosterone. Like if an average person went and got their blood work done, that's considered normal if they're in that range. But like that range has changed so dramatically, like over the last like
Couple years.
even over the last like 2 years, it's changed.
Yeah.
But over the last like 30 years, that number's drastically lowered. Like I think the top end used to be around 1,200, like for normal people, right? And the low end was like 300.
Yeah.
But now they've lowered that bar and they've lowered the top end. And I think you could trace a lot of issues that go on in the world right now to that.
Oh, yeah.
As like a society, our testosterone has over the last 2 decades has fucking nosedived, dude.
Yep.
I know 2 guys who are under 21, or they're right around 21. 2 guys, and they've both gotten their blood work done, and their testosterone. Neither of these guys have been on steroids. Neither of these guys have,
They've done
anything crazy. Both of them, their testosterone was under 250. These are like, one of them was 20 when he did it, and the other I think was 21. Dude. So these dudes are in their early 20s.
Yeah, so it's super young.
It's young as fuck. They should be at the prime of their lives, right? Like their testosterone should be through the roof. They should be breaking up with raging boners 24/7, just chasing tail nonstop, right? But these dudes under 250. And it's like, what the fuck is going on where this is the case, right? Yeah. And it makes you wonder, because how many of these issues and these trolls online, or these people that are unhappy, because if you go on Facebook, like I would say at least 75% of the people are unhappy as fuck, right?
I'd go as far as saying 90, man.
It might even be higher, who knows? But there's a lot of unhappy people, right?
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, what are their levels like, right? Like, because if these 2 guys, healthy guys who like to kind of work out, but have like no motivation, they're super, like there's no reason for them having that low of testosterone. But it makes you wonder, like, society obviously has penalized and like demonized toxic masculinity, right? Like high testosterone. And then on top of that, like all the processed foods, all the garbage foods, all the, maybe all the time spent indoor playing video games or on your smartphone or on your computer. Like, how much of a snowball effect has this created in terms of like hormones throughout society?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's an epidemic almost. I would venture to say that probably, at least 7 out of 10 people that you see have hormone levels that are not optimal. or they're out of whack.
Yeah.
And that goes to women as well, because women can have messed up hormone levels too. And I feel like thyroid issues are a huge epidemic nowadays in terms of people. So kind of blurry. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. So it makes you wonder. At least personally, I've been wondering that the last several months in particular. Like, I wonder like how much of the issues that face America today can be traced back to a society of people whose hormone levels are just fucked.
Pretty sure a lot of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I look back at my like Facebook posts, right? Like Facebook posts, like it posts like the memories or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to my Facebook posts from, that range, like when I was like 28, 29, 30. And I'm super fucking negative or emo or whiny, like just fucking like cringy. And I'm like, what the fuck was I doing, dude? And then I look back and I'm like, man, I was a miserable fuck back then.
Yeah.
And obviously a good part of that probably had to do with the fact that I was going through a lot, like a downward spiral in terms of my hormonal health.
Yeah.
So
I know my wife noticed that as soon as I jumped on.
Yeah.
Like when I was doing it the black market way.
Yeah.
Like within the first 3 months, she was like, "This is gonna sound really weird, but everyone wants to actually be around you." And I'm like, "What?"
They don't mind hanging out with you now.
Yeah, I was like, "What the fuck? What is that supposed to mean?" And they're like, "She's like, well, you were kind of a dick. You're always so moody and angry, like at the smallest little details."
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm kind of a dick, but there's a difference between actually meaning it and just like fucking around with your homies. You know what I mean? But yeah, that and the anxiety went down, and she noticed that too.
Yeah, the anxiety one I think was the most noticeable for me. Obviously, it was the total mood change completely. And it's funny too, because that's another thing that like people point to, right? Like the increased aggression or like roid rage that, like they just assume that like that just naturally happens, right? Like you're becoming an angry fucking person. It's like, no, like when your hormones are actually in check
and you feel better.
Yeah. And you feel better. You're actually a much happier person.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think a lot of those types of, roid rage that people experience, I think that most of that is attributed to that person was already a dick to begin with. Like that's just that's their baseline. They were just a dick to begin with. Or two, they're not monitoring their blood work and their estrogen is through the roof, or their testosterone is like astronomically high, and there's not a balance there, right? Because that's the only time I feel a negative effect, right? Like I'll feel a negative effect every now and then, and I can kind of tell, oh, maybe it's time that I go see my doc. Like maybe I need to go see my doc. Maybe I'm a little too elevated, or maybe something's off, right? Or maybe I haven't been sleeping as well, and that's kind of spiked something. Yeah. So I'm much more intuitive now in terms of like why I feel certain ways. But I think there's a lot of people. I think a lot of the negative connotations associated with this type of thing are just from people just being misinformed.
Oh yeah,
and uneducated as to like what it really happens, right? Like, and even if you were on TRT, right? People just assume like, oh man, you're some superhuman, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, because most of the time, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of doctors out there that will prescribe higher doses that get their people like super high.
Yeah.
But most of the time you're actually just going to a normal level, right? Yeah. Like you're not going to a super elevated level. You're not going to like 2,000. Yeah. You're going to like 1,200 tops usually. And they'll keep you below that. So you're just kind of bringing yourself up to where everyone else is naturally.
Yeah. Or to your baseline, like
or to where your baseline is. But even your baseline though, you're not unnatural, right? Like you're not in an unnatural level.
Yeah.
Like there are people that are born with that level.
Yeah.
All the time. So it's like they just assume that you're like some superhuman, like Superman now. It's like, no. It's like still have to work out, still have to train, still have to eat, right? Right? Like it just doesn't naturally just change me.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that I can grab somebody like from work, like a random guy, and that looks somewhat fit or whatever. Just grab him, get his blood work, and I'm pretty sure his test will still be higher than mine.
Yeah,
or we'll be at the same.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you can easily find a guy that's got a higher than 500 test.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. It's not an astronomical. Like,
no, yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like everyone assumes that when you jump on TRT or anything testosterone related, you're just fucking skyrocketing. Your numbers.
And I'm sure there are some people out there that hop on TRT and just fucking to the moon with their with their levels, but I would say the vast majority of people, they're not on very much gear, they're not on very much testosterone, and their levels are not that elevated. They're actually fairly normal. So
unless they're taking other things.
Yeah, which most of those types of, I haven't found a doctor that will prescribe other stuff.
Yeah, hell no.
I have a buddy and he went to a doc and he's like asking the doc for like D-ball or something. The doc's like, I'm not prescribing.
Yeah.
She's like, no. Like, I think you misunderstood what my purpose is. It's like, I just want to get jacked.
Can I get some trend? Just want to get buff.
I'm sure there are some doctors out there that if you went to them and was like, hey, but I don't know how legitimate those doctors are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but going back though to so we were talking about, like, we mentioned it earlier, like getting your blood work done. Even if you're in your 20s and you feel perfectly fine, or even if you're in your 30s and you feel perfectly fine, you should still go get it done because of what we were talking about, where like everyone has a different baseline. If you feel perfect right now is the perfect time to go get your blood work done, because now you know this is the level I need to be at to feel my best, right? Because sometimes you'll go to a doctor and they'll be like, oh, your levels, like that example earlier, the guy that was at 800 and he dropped down to 500 and he's like, he feels like shit now, right? But if he went to a doctor and was like, hey, this is my baseline is 800, I got it done, several tests, here are the results, and I felt my best here, and the doc will be like, oh, okay. And it just helps you, right?
Yeah.
Like, it gives you an idea of where you need to be at. Whereas in your case, you had to like kind of trial and error. Like, hey, I did this much, I got to 200, I still feel like shit, blah, blah, blah. Now I got to get up to 500, now I feel good, right?
Yeah.
So even if you feel good right now, go get your blood work done. Everyone should go get it done because there's just, it's not going to hurt you.
No, it's not. And you should know where your level's at, regardless if it's like a performance thing or anything.
Yeah.
Like you should know where your level is at.
Yeah. I think it's not even a performance thing. It's literally like, even
it's just a life. It's just a day.
Yeah, even if you don't work out, even if you work in an office 24/7, you should still get your levels done because it's not about the training. It's about the quality of your life. And there's probably some aspects of it that maybe you're suffering. Maybe they're not. Maybe you're fine. But if you're fine, then you want to stay fine for the next, 60 years. So you should find out where you're at.
Yeah. And stay there.
And then get it checked regularly. Like that's the thing too, is like I'll tell people, hey, you get your blood work done, and they get their blood work done, but then they never get it done again, right? Like, no, you if you're feeling good and you're in your 20s, once a year, I would say. If you're getting up to your 30s, maybe twice a year. If you're over 30, definitely twice a year. I get it done every 3 months because my insurance covers most of it. But if you can't afford to get it done and your insurance doesn't cover the blood test, because I know my old insurance never covered the blood test and it was like $300. So it was like I would go twice a year or once a year. But go as often as you can afford. but it should be no less than a year, at once a
Yeah.
year. Ideally, you're going twice a year though, because
Yeah,
levels
I would say
fluctuate.
twice.
I
Yeah.
would say I think that's perfect if you can go twice. Ideally, if you can go 3 to 4 times, perfect.
Yeah.
But that's only really if you care about performance. I think if you're going 4 times, 3 times.
Yeah.
If you're just an average Joe, 1 to 2 times a year, I think is fine.
But if you're doing it for performance at that point, you're probably one of the people that are taking the dose and
Yeah,
bumping it
maybe
more.
bumping it a little bit, but
Yeah.
you should be monitoring it because it plays a huge role, and it does. It's not like a static number. Like you could be
No.
at 700, one day, and then maybe like the next week, maybe you're in the 600s,
Yep.
maybe you're in the 800s. Like it can fluctuate
Yeah.
depending on how your lifestyle is, how your diet is, how your training is, how much sleep you're getting. It can fluctuate.
Yeah.
How much stress you're under. Getting it done often is important. So that's my biggest takeaway. I think is if you're feeling even slightly shitty, for sure get your blood work done. Make an appointment
Yep.
with a doctor. But even if you feel great, go get it done just for the sake of getting it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moral of the story: blood work.
Blood work.
Blood work.
And
Get it
don't
done.
underestimate the importance of it.
Yes, and do your research on who to go to.
And then
find a good.
Yeah. Find a good. There's a bunch now. I think it's much more common. And this is another thing. So this is a little add on to that. If you're going to do other PEDs, and like that's what you want, you're like set on it, like you're gonna do SARMs or you're gonna do whatever. That's fine. Like I don't judge you, right? Like that's your choice.
Yeah.
And I think most people need to have that opinion. Like it does. Like who cares? It's a personal choice. But if you're gonna do that, get your fucking blood work done, right?
Yeah.
Like not just because you're going to a hormone doctor do you have to get your blood work done. If you're gonna do anything that's gonna alter your hormones or change your hormones, get your blood work done before, after, and during.
Yep.
Because I know a few guys who have done some cycles of some stuff, SARMs or steroids, whatever, and they didn't get their blood work done before, and then it just they fuck themselves up in the long term, right? Because they don't know where they're at, or they tank their levels, and then they never recover their levels, or they don't even know that they've tanked their levels. It's just, if you're gonna do any of this shit, do it responsibly. Be a fucking adult, right? Yeah. Monitor your shit. Because that's the thing is like a lot of this stuff can be done safely, like relatively safely. It's when you start abusing it and going crazy with shit or not monitoring your health while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Then it starts getting sketchy.
Then you're that's how people fucking die and have all these adverse reactions that end up reflecting on the whole community.
Yeah. Yeah.
And giving the whole community a bad name.
Yeah.
But
I mean, one thing, like quickly on the SARMs, like I know you don't know too much about it.
No, I do not.
But like a lot of people that I've talked to, like that, I know a lot of people that actually have taken SARMs, and don't do them. That is the moral of it. Don't do it. I know 2 people that basically cycled on. They basically cruised on just Rad 140 for like a couple months, and Rad 140 is basically the SARM equivalent of testosterone. It's like testosterone is what it's called. Yeah, weird.
It's like the great value testosterone.
Yeah, exactly. But like it's droplets, and the thing is that people don't know is like it's the binder is alcohol, and you're basically putting pure alcohol into your system every time you do it. So I know 2 people that actually almost went into kidney failure from it, and like they're peeing out blood.
Oh.
Yeah, and it like turned their pee to look like Coke.
Yeah.
And then, they went to see the doctor, and they're like, "Yeah, well, whatever you're taking, you should probably stop because your kidneys are pretty fucked from it."
Yeah, I don't know enough about the whole SARMs thing. Like,
it's way too sketchy, and there's not enough research done on it.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people have seen good results, but it's because they're getting it from reputable places,
Yeah.
and those reputable places like are being taken down like more and more every day.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're getting is just it's bullshit. You're not getting what you're actually supposed to be getting.
Yeah. Huh.
So if
Yeah.
you're thinking about doing SARMs, stop thinking about it. You're
Yeah. I
better
don't.
off going to get blood work and seeing if you're, if you need testosterone or if you need something else.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know enough about any of the. I don't even know enough about like other anabolic things. Like people ask. I get questioned about it all the time, right? They just assume that like I
That
know
you
shit like
know.
that. That I know shit like that. And I'm like, literally, dude, all I know is like, I know testosterone and I know and anastrozole. I believe that's the E blocker that I'm on. Like, that's all I really know, dude. Like, I know vaguely
That's
some
the
other things.
extent.
I know some other things that like people have mentioned, like because I just know guys that bodybuild and I know guys that powerlift like super competitively, and they'll tell me some things and like what they have an effect on, but like I don't know enough about that to be like, hey man, you should hop on this, or like,
Yeah.
not that I would do that anyway, but it's like people
No.
just assume that you know everything. Right? I don't know enough about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I do know what I've talked to with my doctor and like the 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 basics, right?
Yeah.
So, but
We are not the people you are
we are
seeking.
not medical fucking
No,
doctors.
we're not.
We are not. We're just two fucking meatheads
Mm-hmm.
who have microphones right now. Like,
Yeah.
so this is just advice. It's not medical advice. It's like just life advice. Like,
Yeah.
hey, go get your blood work done, get it checked out. And yeah, if you're going to do like cycles of shit, get your blood work done, monitor that, and keep an eye on it, because there's
Shit can
nothing
go sideways real
nothing
quick.
says that you can't do that if you want to do it. But if you're going to do it, you might as well try to do it the safest way possible. And
Yeah.
just willy-nilly just injecting shit into your body without seeing how it affects other aspects of your body outside of just the picture in the mirror, it's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But on that same regard, like, we need to stop looking at people, and just looking at it like it's a miracle thing. Like
It's not a miracle
you
drug.
just inject something and fucking you look like Arnold Schwarzenegger the next day.
Yeah.
I think I told you this story, but I worked with a dude back when I was bouncing, and he was like, I was like the smallest dude. Actually, he was the smallest dude, and I was like the second smallest dude, because he looked like me, but he didn't work out. So he was like me without working out. I at least had some muscle on me, but we were both the two smallest dudes at this club. It was just a bunch of Tongans, fucking big ass dudes. And he's like, dude, I'm gonna get on some steroids. He's like, I'm gonna get jacked. I was like, all right, cool, dude, whatever. And he's like a skinny dude, didn't really work out. I think he did like jujitsu and shit. And like I see him like a month later, and he's gradually, been getting a little bit thicker, but like not thick like, hey man, you've been working out. Like thick like, hey man, you need to lay off the Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
Like his face just starts getting like thicker, and he starts getting a little belly. And I'm like, man, dude, what the hell you been doing? He's like, I've been on, dude. I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, but I don't. I was like, you've been working out? He's like, no. He's just been injecting shit. His dumb ass was just injecting shit, thinking that like, hey,
It's a miracle drug.
I don't gotta work out. Like, it'll just make me jacked.
Yeah.
Like, nah, man, it'll make you fat.
Yeah.
start holding a lot of water, you look like fucking Pillsbury Doughboy. But that's just kind of like, and that was probably like 15 years ago, but not that far. It's probably like 10 years ago. But that's just like the type of like person out there that like doesn't realize what he's doing. Like, they just assume that it's fucking gonna make them. They're just assume that like, just because somebody took it like and is a bodybuilder and they look fucking amazing, that if I take that, I'm gonna look like him too.
Yeah.
Nah, man, there's other things that go into it.
Yeah.
Just like testosterone affects other aspects of your life, you can't just do one thing and just change everything else, right?
Yeah.
You actually have to work out and eat, right? And
You have to do things.
there's other parts of the
fucking
chain.
other steps that need to be done.
You got to make the connection between the chains.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. Probably get roasted, ripped apart by trolls online.
Yeah. I know I am.
Probably.
Yeah. Like, oh my god, you used to compete USAPL, you used to keep people away from it.
You've gone to the dark side.
Dude,
you're a terrible person.
I know it's gonna happen.
It's the only reason you bench 374 for 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was already getting that by the homies that knew. It's like, oh, it's only because you're on gear. It's like, all right, man.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's not the fact that you're able to actually now train without being exhausted and string multiple training sessions together without fucking feeling like shit.
You know what the biggest thing was for me? Eating. I didn't have an appetite before. And like now I do.
Somebody would look at that and be like, really? You didn't have an appetite, Manny?
Yeah, I know.
Methinks some bullshit there, baby.
Yeah, true. See, this is why I'm gonna get roasted. I'm gonna be like, yo, dog, look at yourself. You never miss a goddamn meal.
What do you mean? You got a full beard and a full belly. What are you talking about? Low T my ass.
Bullshit.
That's interesting though. That's the one that you notice the most. I find that yeah. I don't know if I necessarily eat more. I'm able to do more, so probably builds more appetite for me, but I don't feel hungrier necessarily. But that was never an issue. Like that, I never experienced like any issues with eating.
That was mine.
Huh.
I only eat once a day, and it was always like it's basically gorging myself. It's like, oh shit, I'm leaving the gym. I haven't ate all day. I'm gonna get some Mickey D's.
Ugh. Mm-hmm. Ugh. Dude, I had Mickey D's 2 weeks ago when I went to that event. Bro.
Worst mistake?
Do they have the smallest patties on earth?
Yeah.
I got like the cheeseburger, just like basic cheeseburger.
Yeah, it's like
I was like, I'm trying to get the least shitty thing that I can get right here. Like I was looking at the quarter pounder. I was like, I don't need all that shit. Just give me some basic ass cheeseburgers, right? You can't even see the patty through the bun. Like the bun literally covers completely. Yeah. And then I like lifted it up, and like the bun is like that, and the patty is like that. Yeah. Like, what kind of bullshit is this, McDonald's?
There's a reason why it's sold for $1.
I mean, so is Wendy's and Jack in the Box. They got dollar menus, but those are actually legitimate patties.
I've never actually got anything off their dollar menu, so I don't know.
I used to live off the Jack in the Box dollar menu. I think it wasn't like a true dollar menu. I think it's like $1.25 or some shit. But
it's still the dollar menu.
It's basically a dollar menu. It's a value menu or some shit.
Yeah.
But yeah. That was the first time I've had McDonald's in probably 5-6 years. And I was like, never again.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hope you guys liked this episode. Pretty informative, I think. Hopefully we don't get destroyed by the trolls. I'm sure we will, though. We should probably... my buddy, Ank, is pretty good. Is pretty well known with PEDs and SARMs. He's got a pretty big channel on YouTube. We should probably get him on. I'll see if I can get him on.
Yeah, you should.
School us up a little bit. But yeah. Hopefully you guys liked this episode. Hopefully it was helpful. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us in the DMs, like about the whole, finding a doctor, getting your blood work done,
We will not give you doses.
I will not give you doses or, that type of thing, but like I'll help you go in the right direction.
Yeah, we'll point you to the way you need
to
go.
Or talk about my experience a little bit more with you if you have more questions. But yeah, feel free to shoot us a DM on our private social medias or on the podcast social media. It doesn't matter. Follow Manny at Manny SHW on all platforms, and follow me, James Mooney GC, on all platforms. Make sure you guys subscribe, tell a friend. even if you listen to this on like the audio versions on Spotify or iTunes, head on over to the YouTube channel, give us a subscribe there, because it just helps the channel grow a little bit.
Helps the algorithm.
Yeah, helps out with the algorithm. And then make sure you guys check out blasthouse.com. If you guys follow me on social media, you know that there's been a lot of issues with supplements, but we're going to have some stuff soon. The protein's going to be restocked next month, but it will not last. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. Blasthouse.com, code NFTW, save you guys some money. And, yeah, talk to you guys in the next one.
Stay hopefully in person.
Friends. Yeah, hopefully in person. Hopefully with a guest, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deuces, y'all.
Peace.